Hey guys, welcome to my freshman advice video. I'm going to college in like a week and I thought I would film this. My sister said it would be really helpful. Yeah, so this video is going to be about like stuff you should bring on the first day, things you should do, like social life to academics in high school, and a lot of helpful tricks and tips, as well as like do's and don'ts of high school. So yeah, let's start with like what you should bring on your first day. Don't go to the store and buy all your school supplies on the first day. I would recommend bringing one of these 5-star basic notebooks, like this thickness, to write down everything your teachers tell you about the classes that you're going to be taking, as well as a planner. I picked this one up at Walmart. I think it was like $7. Like, planners tend to be pretty expensive, but they're definitely worth it. I don't really think I would have survived high school if I didn't have a planner, because it's really hard to remember everything that your teachers are going to tell you. And of course, a pencil. Pencil and eraser, really helpful. If you prefer pens, bring that. Yeah, so there's a list off to the side, so I'll probably be looking off to the side to see what I need to talk about next. But the main thing there is don't bring extra supplies. The next thing that's really helpful to bring to school and just wear it every day are, well, for girls, like hairbands or scrunchies. Just have one on you, especially if like a friend asks. I would always recommend having that. And then a watch, because there's going to be times when you come late to school or in between classes and you want to know what time it is, and you don't want to awkwardly have to go up to someone else and ask them. Also, like, other people can ask you for the time. That can start meaningful conversations and be like a really easy way to make friends if someone asks you for the time. As well as like asking you for a piece of gum. Like, if you carry gum to school, then you can give someone who you want to talk to a piece of gum or offer them a piece of gum. That's a great way to like have friends in your classes, as well as like at lunch, where you have all the friends you might know from middle school. So then on the first day, something really important is to memorize your schedule. So I was that kid who looked at my schedule like from freshman year first day to senior year like last day. And I know that sounds really bad, but memorization is not my thing, and I made it through high school. So if you're watching this video, you're gonna make it through high school. I mean, try to memorize your schedule. That was something I never put the effort into doing, and I kind of looked stupid because I had to pull it out in the middle of the hallway and just be like, what class am I going to? And by the end of the year, my friends had my schedule down pat, so they would just be telling me like, oh, Juliana, like, you're going here, you're going there, you have English next, like, don't worry about it, I got you. I was like, thank God, because I never actually memorized my schedule. So that's one thing I would recommend doing. Another thing, as far as like the first day, if you have any club fairs in the first week, check out all the clubs. Don't overwhelm yourself. I didn't really do too many clubs throughout high school, and I can see the benefit if you want to make a lot of new friends or you're not doing sports. But if you're doing sports, then overwhelming yourself with clubs might not be the best option, since they do take up a lot of time. However, people do clubs for other reasons as well, like if you want something for your college application. I know you're a freshman, so you might not be thinking about that right now, but remember that high school gets you into college, so you're going to want to do two things. One, keep your GPA up, and two, make sure that you have things to put on your application that'll make you look like a good student. So if you do a music class, or like a lot of extracurriculars, like you take private lessons for certain things, or you do certain clubs, then like you might get into the school you want versus the person who didn't do any clubs but has the same grades as you. So definitely do any clubs that you're interested in. Just don't overwhelm yourself. So on the first day of school, some more tips for that. You're going to want to say hi to everyone who you know. Sorry, my computer is, okay, here we go. Say hi to everyone who you know, and get there relatively early so that you can hang out with the people who you want to be your friends for basically the rest of the year. Because think about it like this, on the first day, everyone's really nervous, so you latch on to people quickly. So if there's like a group of friends who you see and you really want them to be your friends, start talking to them on the first day. Don't be scared. Everyone's scared and nervous, so just go up to them on the first day rather than trying to introduce yourself like halfway through the week. That's going to be a lot harder. So yeah, definitely talk to the people who you want to talk to on the first day so you guys can be leaning on each other, and you will most likely make more friends if you say hi to more people. So then some more like obvious general tips that I just have to say that are really important. Please don't do these things. Number one, don't date upperclassmen. It's just never a good idea. And I don't really feel like I have to go into the reasons why too much, but just think about it for a sec. Two would be safe. Don't just get into anyone's like car, because I know freshmen, you can't drive yet. You're gonna need rides everywhere, but don't just make sure you trust the people when you get into their car, because some people are not good drivers. That's just the truth of it. So you need to make sure, ask your friends, be like, who do you get for a ride, and don't be in the car alone with someone like an upperclassman who you've only been with a few times, because you really just, it's not a safe situation to put yourself in. So then another big no is like, don't trash talk people. It's gonna come back around to you. Everything spreads in high school like wildfire, so just don't trash talk. Like, don't pick on people, because it's not like the movies. It's not really seen as cool. Like, upperclassmen are definitely more mature, so if they see you picking on someone, they're not gonna like you very much. So yeah, bullying's not really a big thing in high school like you would see, like you think it is based off like maybe watching a movie or something. So avoid that, because if you like start bullying someone, people aren't gonna like you, and then you're gonna be the one who ends up bullied in the end. So stay away from that. What else? Like, okay, so if you have the option to at your school, definitely choose classes that you like. If you have to take English and math and science and a history, then get those out of the way your freshman year, but make sure you choose an elective you like. Or like if you have to take gym and health, yeah, take those right away. Some schools give you options with your schedule while others don't. But remember that you will have the freedom, maybe sophomore year, maybe junior year, maybe senior year, to choose the classes you want, and therefore you need to make sure that you're taking the right classes beforehand so that you're not struggling in the classes that you're interested in. What I mean by this is, when you're a freshman, it's not a good idea to take all standard classes if you know that when you're a junior, you want to take an AP class. Even when you're a senior, if you want to take an AP class, then you should start out freshman year taking an honors class that matches whatever that AP class is in. So I hope that makes sense. For instance, like I wanted to take an AP Gov class, so I made sure the year before that I was in an honors history class. So, not too bad. I would personally recommend freshman year starting out with 2 honors classes, and then each year add an honors class, and then your last year or your junior year, try to add 1 or 2 AP classes. If you're able to do that, that's awesome. If you're not, don't worry about it. Just make sure you're progressing, because colleges definitely look at that. So a big thing that I was kind of nervous to do until the end of my senior year is take days off. Like, you have an allotted amount of days that you can take off in high school, so take those days off, because if you're sick, no one wants to see you in school. If you're tired and you feel kind of down, then it's better to rejuvenate yourself, go home, have, a little self-care kind of day, and then come back to school the next day refreshed so you can actually learn and concentrate in your classes. Another thing that I think is helpful that I was like a little bit awkward about is locker room dynamic. So if you're going to do sports in high school, which most people do, I would recommend choosing 2 sports that you really like. And if you don't have sports, then make sure you're doing lots of clubs and other activities. But the locker room dynamic, especially if you have gym classes your freshman and sophomore year, it's like kind of nerve-wracking for freshmen because locker rooms get really busy. I would say don't be nervous to get changed, especially like in front of others. It's just a normal thing. No one's looking at you. Like in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, people are looking at me when I take off my shirt or whatever. No one's looking at you. Everyone's doing their own thing and rushing to get to where they need to be, to be on time for sports or a class. So don't worry about that at all. So then the last thing would be like, high school is what you make of it, so make sure you're having fun. Whether or not like you are taking all these difficult classes, maybe that's not what you want your high school experience to be like. If I have like one regret that I could share, I would say it was not having enough fun with my friends. I think we were all really wrapped up in school, and so by the end of the year we were just like, let's go have some fun. But I think we could all admit that if we did that a little earlier, we would have enjoyed our high school experience a lot more, because you need to figure out ways to de-stress and just have fun and let loose. And the best way to do that is definitely with friends. So let's move on to the portion where I answer questions from freshmen. I'm going to pull that up on my laptop. Okay, so one question that I got was, what happens when you have to go to a different lunch, like a junior's lunch or a senior's lunch? Because that can be kind of intimidating, especially what can you do in the lunchroom? You have a few different options. In most schools, you can choose to get a pass to meet with a teacher or go somewhere else like the library instead of having to sit alone at lunch if you don't have any friends, because sitting alone is not really a good option. If you like it and you want to do homework and read a book, that's another thing. But I would really recommend, if you do have a senior lunch, you can go up to the library or do something else. However, if you're with a gym class and you have some other friends in that class, just sit with them at lunch. Make sure you're not in like any other upperclassmen's seats or anything like that, because you don't want to start any problems. So if you see that you're in someone else's table, then move over so that the upperclassmen can have their assigned seats, So then another question, do people shower? I know in some middle schools there are showers, in some high schools there are showers. Well, the question, do people shower? It's going to be different, and yeah, it will vary from school to school, but for my school, no one really showers. We didn't have showers like that. We actually had showers at the middle school, but not at the high school, so no one does that. Should you bring a lunch? Well, school lunch at my school, it's actually pretty good, but like compared to other schools. However, I would still bring a lunch. It's a lot easier to be able to go right to your table and start eating and then have time to talk with friends than to have to wait in a line for like half of the lunch period. So I would definitely recommend bringing a lunch. It's also a lot healthier, since school lunches are not the best for you. Even when they're supposed to be healthy, they're normally not. Do girls wear makeup? This is a good question from a girl. It's really going to be a personal choice. A good amount of, I would say a lot more girls wear makeup in high school than in middle school. And if you want to, you should. The main things that girls will do is they'll do their eyebrows, fill them in, they'll put on some mascara, just chapstick, maybe a bit of moisturizer and foundation, Not a lot of people go around with like a full face, but if that's you, then go ahead and do that if you normally do. And yeah, don't be afraid to try something new and like wear a full face of makeup, because no one really cares. So that's a good thing. Yeah, makeup's like, some girls do, some girls don't, from every single friend group. It's not just like all the popular girls will wear makeup. It's not like that. So yeah, it's really up to you. Is it better to have one friend group or multiple friend groups? So in my experience, it's always great to have one good friend rather than a bunch of not so great friends. So it's the same situation with friend groups. It's better to have one close-knit friend group than spread yourself across multiple groups of friends, because in the end, when you really need someone during a time where you're stressed, the people who you're the closest to are going to be the ones who help you. So I would say choose one friend group, be really close with them, and then have a few other friends from different friend groups. How can you avoid procrastination? That's a really good question. I was not good at that. I found that when I procrastinated, sometimes my work came out better, but oftentimes the teachers could tell that it looked rushed. So yeah, for the most part, avoid procrastination, because you don't, even though there's a possibility your grade could still be good, you really don't want to take that risk. And teachers will know how much effort you put into things pretty easily, and then you'll just end up getting a worse grade. So one thing I would recommend doing, which helped me a lot, is say to another friend that you're going to help them out with the assignment. This forces you to get the assignment done, or at least know certain parts of the assignment before you go to help them. So if you promise someone you're going to help them out, you have to know the information. Another thing you can do, I know that like technology tends to be the problem here. Instead of using a laptop to take your notes, use a notebook and turn off your phone and your computer for a little while so that you can get your creative juices flowing about the assignment, instead of like pulling up a YouTube video that you're not supposed to be watching while you're doing homework. So let's see. My favorite studying tip. That was another question. My favorite studying tip is kind of unique. I love flashcards, and that's what a lot of people will normally say, but my favorite thing is to try to create a video for myself that will teach me the lesson, because in creating the video, I'm reteaching the lesson to myself, and then once I hit record and like I can watch it back after, right? So I'm getting to create it and teach it to someone else, and then I'm getting to watch it and absorb that information over and over, and I can keep replaying that video as many times as I need until I can test myself, let's say, with flashcards. And for me, flashcards normally go at the beginning and the end of my studying, and then in the middle, I like to teach the information to someone else, kind of as a review. So that's my favorite way to study. What else? Okay, do people change for the gym? Yes, in high school, people don't like to smell, and people don't like people who smell. So don't smell. Yeah, shocker. It's not like middle school where like everyone's walking around sweaty and like no one cares. No, if you smell, put on deodorant. I'm just gonna be straight up with that one. And yeah, everyone changes for the gym. And there's no getting around it. If you don't, people are gonna look at you a little weird, so I would definitely recommend changing. Let's see. Okay, so a more serious question. Like, what do you do if you see someone doing drugs or you smell weed in the building? So the best situation here, obviously you don't want to get bullied for like saying to someone else, like what people would call snitching, because a lot of my friends in high school would tell me stuff like snitches get stitches and like little phrases like that. It's not 100% true, but it can happen, and you have to look out for your own safety first. So if you're in a situation where you see someone doing drugs, the first thing is to remove yourself from the situation. And the second thing, if you think that person's in an unsafe situation in that moment, you can go report it. However, if it's something like someone vaping in the bathroom, something like that, your best bet is actually just remove yourself from the situation and let someone else handle it. Like if you have a school resource officer or hallway monitors in your school, they're probably going to catch that person or already know that that person has a problem, right? So I wouldn't recommend just reporting someone. You don't know what kind of stresses that person's under. Yeah, and you also want to keep yourself safe, because if it ever comes out that you were the person who is like kind of tattletaling on all these people, others will definitely get upset with you. So keep yourself safe and just be your number one priority. If you just smell weed and that's all, I would say just avoid the situation and just walk away, because remember, if you can smell it, then teachers can smell it and everyone else can smell it, and it's not your problem to deal with in that situation. Let's see. Okay, one more thing, a makeup tip that I left out is, instead of wearing like a ton of foundation, if you do want to have on makeup at school, my favorite way to do it is to either buy a BB cream or just mix like mostly like 3/4 moisturizer with 1/4 foundation, so that you just look refreshed in the morning. And then if you get oily in certain spots, put a little bit of translucent powder, like I normally put it like right here, and in your T-zone to help you out during the day. Yeah, pack deodorant as well on the first day of school. You'll probably be sweaty and nervous, and that's okay. What else? Do your homework, read the summer reading books. There's some teachers who do just straight out give tests the first day. So best of luck if you are a freshman in high school. And yeah, go ahead and watch some of my other videos. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up. If there's other video ideas you have for me to do that are school related or not, you can comment those down below. And if you want to see more videos from me, then hit the red subscribe button over there. And thank you for watching. Bye!